carry this over. Let me bounce over to my
Right.
Facebook page,
Folks, we're just
and then
making
I'm
sure we're
going to
live on all the
copy that
places.
link over to my other Facebook page.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
I'm
Should,
everywhere. I'm everywhere.
I've been everywhere, man.
Man, I tell you what.
Well, we are live on the Spencer Bennett page. And here we go. Should be live on mine as well. It's always interesting with technology. It always works when you don't need it to. And when you do,
And then sometimes
hey,
it does. Yeah, that's funny.
yeah. But it's good to be with you, Spencer. So much has gone on. And we're going to go ahead and start. Why don't you kick it off, my man?
All right, stand by and let me just make sure that I'm loading on Facebook on my other page.
There you go.
And we are rolling and rolling and rolling.
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Then here we go in 3, 2, 1. Well, welcome back to the deep dive. I'm Spencer Bennett, and with me is my other co-host, Brant Fricker. Brant, it's good to see you, my brother.
Always good to see you, Spencer. So much has happened since we talked last. I can't wait to dive right into it. Where do you want to start?
You miss 2 weeks. You miss a regime change.
Yeah.
What is going on with that, brother? I mean, it is crazy.
Well, you know, I have my I voted button. You can't see it in this shot, but I have it on. And folks, you know, if you don't vote, you can't complain. You need to vote.
Yep.
You know, some people didn't wake up today, and some places are safer than others. But America, you know, you voted in safety today for the most part. I wish I could say the same for the new regime change voting bloc in Iran, but
it's okay to say it. You know, regime change. And then today, at the time of this broadcast, earlier today, the new group of little Ayatollah wannabes decided they were going to hold a vote to see who's going to be next on the chopping block, and it turns out they all were. Because Israel dropped a JDAM or something on them and blew them to their fiery demise. I can't say that I'm sorry about that. The people of Iran have been waiting for this for 47 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, the parallels of Iran, Brant, when we talk about it, the young people of Iran, the young hippies, the young blue-haired, nose ring-wearing hippies that you could compare them to today, thought, hey, the Ayatollahs are promising all this great stuff. They're going to take our oil money and they're going to make us, everything's going to be free. It's going to be free.
Socialism.
It almost sounded like Zoran Mondami.
Verbatim.
And actually, Iranians who were the Desperia, the people who left Iran and have never seen their home country, young people, looking at Zoran Mondami, saying the exact same thing the Ayatollahs did back 47 years ago. It terrified them.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't know that the handmaiden's tale that the liberals love to quote or emulate was actually about the Revolutionary Guard, the Islamic Revolution in Iran. It's actually about that. How ironic it is. The same useful fools, you know. I mean, people don't know that the same tactics and verbatim what Mondami was saying. The warm collectivism was used in Iran, in Persia, right? To usher in the atrocities. The same useful idiots were killed. Ayatollah Khomeini killed over 30,000 liberals that were doing the same propagating as the young hippie Chinese liberals that ushered in the Red Army and the CCP. You know, if people would just crack open a book, I would say if they would pay attention in school, but they're not learning anything in school but activism. Even the CRT, critical race theory, we got to talk about this. Well, do your homework. It was developed in the 20s in Belgium by the communists to overthrow America. It's nothing new. But I guess you know, either history repeats itself, Spencer, or people are just, you know, cyclically stupid.
I'll go with the second.
Yeah.
I'll go with the second. History repeats itself because people are cyclically stupid.
That's a new word, cyclically.
And that's the problem. They won't learn. And young people, please listen. We're not trying to bash you, But if your idea is communism is great, it's awesome. It just was never done right. You need to realize there were over 60 million people, including Christians, that were killed by communists in the 20th century. So, and it's the same playbook, Brant. It's Islam and Marxism that are
Right.
going hand in hand to destruction, but they're taking every country that allows them to get into power to do the same thing. You know, you've got your I voted button on. I went and voted today. I've been tied up doing a lot of things the last 2 weeks and didn't get to early vote, but I made sure as soon as I got off work today that I got out there and I voted. We gave our listeners and let them meet some of the candidates, the people that would come on the air and talk about their campaign and let people know about them. And I would say the vast majority of them were conservative. One even the gubernatorial candidate that is trying to unseat the incumbent, who has allowed Islam into Texas and
Right.
even spent tax dollars, your property tax dollars, to promote such and to allow 5-1 uh, what do they call them, 501b3 visas or something.
501c3. Mm-hmm.
Now it's the HB1s. That's
Oh.
HB1 visas. And now we've got two 80-foot monkey gods in Texas for a pagan religion because of this stuff. And then we've got a governor that likes to dress up as a Hindu and celebrate and claims to be a Christian and celebrate their holidays. We have a problem when you have politicians that govern by a windsock. That's a problem.
It is.
And we need to get rid of all these rhinos. I don't care if you think they're doing a good job. If you look back and you find out exactly how they sold you down the river, they're not doing a great job. They are cutting your throat. They are leading you to the slaughter. And there are people out there that see it and are fighting against it. But then again, Brant, you know, even in conservatives, well, I've always voted this way. This is just the way I trust him. I voted for him 2-3 times. And this is what has gotten you. This is what it's gotten you. Now, I'm not saying ever vote for a Democrat because we know the Democrats have already said what they're going to do to conservatives and any Trump supporters or any Christians. They're coming after you because they're Marxists. This is what they do. And they're hand in hand with the Islamists. We know what they do. In the book of Revelation, I think we can see pretty clearly what the false religion is, the one that likes to take heads. So we need to stop this. And we are called to be salt and light, aren't we, Brant?
We are. And the reason that it was really not surprising to me when I thought you were alluding to the 501c3 is because when I was a correspondent for Act for America, national correspondent, reporting on Obama's Muslim Brotherhood, they come here with Saudi money, they come here with terror money, and they immediately file for a 501c3. Then they begin renovating their house into a mosque in your neighborhood. And those were the angry jihadists that were chasing me around the country 17 years ago, almost 17 years ago, Spencer. And of course, you know, a lot of people don't know that Obama created ISIS and armed them while our boys were being killed in Benghazi with the stand down order and Hillary nowhere in sight. And of course, here we are today, living with the result of them even having been in office. You know, thank you to Hillary for the uranium, to Iran, and of course Osama, I call him, for the billions of stolen tax dollars, your stolen tax dollars, folks, that went to Iran as well. So, hey, a lot is coming to light, and the canopy over all this is the Epstein files. You know, I don't know if you have delved into those or watched any of the videos or read any of the things. I know that lives are being forever changed and altered just by the fact that you cannot unsee the atrocities. I've been trying to avoid watching any of those videos released because I'm trying to stay a free citizen right now. But however, you can definitely vote, can't you? You know, the same people that created this cabal, the same people that created the communism and Marxism and Luciferianism and transgenderism, which is the worship of a Baphomet, who is transgender. And of course, Bel and Moloch, all these things they're not only in your face and unhidden, but they've come out and doing this and this and this like the church is so good at doing. we pray won't do that anymore. At least the least you could do is vote these demons out.
Yeah, to keep the demons from coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. We've got these Islamists, CARE, which has been designated a terrorist
Right.
organization, going before our very own school boards here in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
demanding that we remove things from our history books, like the Mayflower Compact.
Mm-hmm.
Any mention of the Thanksgiving Day holiday that was established by George Washington in his addresses, where he thanked Almighty God. See, this is the problem. When you have a usurper, they're going to use the rules that you've set up, and they're going to twist them, and they're going to get in and destroy you with them.
Mm-hmm.
When people say, oh, well, the First Amendment says you can worship anybody you want in them. Yes, you can. You certainly can. However, it doesn't say you can't keep people out whose ideology is a religion. It's an ideology too, and a political ideology that is diametrically opposed to your freedom. They actually want to kill you. In other words, would you allow Satanists to be your pastor? Because that's what's going to happen. And if you think that's just hyperbole, it's not really. It's the same thing. You're entrusting your spiritual warfare of your children, and I would say yourself,
Right.
but to people who have the worst planned for you. You will, I mean, they've already promised your daughters, your granddaughters will be wearing hijabs down the road. They already have their plan, and you won't believe them when they tell you what they're going to do. You still don't believe it. You think, oh, that's not going to happen.
Oh, they wouldn't let that. Who's the they that won't let happen?
Yeah,
It's supposed
because
to be
it's
you.
happening. You've got people selling you down the river right now that
Mm-hmm.
have used your tax dollars to promote these things. Charter schools being set up. What were supposed to be Christian learning, a place where Christians could get out of the public school system, the secular humanist garbage
Right.
that was being pumped into our education system, to get away from that and form a school. And now the Islamists are using those to promote their ideology. More mosques are being set up in the Dallas Fort Worth Irving area
Mm-hmm.
than you can count. I think one every how many months? 14 months, maybe less. A new mosque pops up.
Those are the ones you know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't include the ones you don't. Again, this is not an old problem, but you have to understand this is a religion of conquest, a religion where taqiyya, lying, is not only encouraged, it's praised.
Yes.
And of course,
If you can get to your end goals, lying is perfectly okay.
it is.
Yeah. It sounds a lot like another religion I know that's a little twisted off, pharisaical. But here's the deal, folks. If you don't start taking an active role in your country, and you don't sign up for a communication system, and we happen to have one that we know about, don't we, Brant, where you can stay in touch and you can get plugged in and maybe even run for office because you're sick of this garbage. Well, Brant, tell them about it.
Well, Patriots in Action is free to join. You can text Patriot to 84576, Patriot to 84576. You can join for free. You can be educated, but it's a movement. And Dan Rogers is an amazing man that created that. Dan's helped in a lot of strategic elections because it's time, folks. If you don't occupy leadership, they will. And they're not concerned for you. You saw for yourself the State of the Union. Stand up. Any Democrat who believes that American citizens should come before illegals, not one that I saw stood up. That should tell you right there. I mean, how many times can you be broken up with Democrats and rejected from your own leaders? Oh, well, they don't represent us. Well, if you vote for them, they do. They're the ones driving the bus.
Do.
They're a moderate Democrat is about as useless as a moderate Muslim because you're not the ones driving the bus. Your radicals are. Surah 9, Surah 5, kill all those who do not follow Allah. Cut off their hands and feet, lay an ambush at them. They're just following their book. So, the moderates, hey, I love a lot of moderate Muslims. I do. But they're not the ones driving the bus. No. And how devout are you? Does devout mean you're following your book? Right. But here we are in this death cult, and of course the Democrats, as I call them. You know, most Democrats have never even read their own platform. If they did, they wouldn't be Democrats.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
they cherry pick these little issues. And it's been said that a conservative only needs one reason not to vote. Well, I don't like how Trump said this. Really? And yet you have a Democrat that only needs one reason to vote.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, how many years have we seen conservatives now? Hey, we don't vote for a living, and we're not paid to protest. When we protest, it's not paid, and when we vote, we're not being paid. You know, we're not leeches, we're not parasites. Who you know is issued the latest flag to protest with or to be agitators. I hear you get more money if you're an agitator, Spencer, than just a mere protester. You know, but all that
Well,
to
you
say,
take more risks.
yeah,
You might get shot when you try to run over a cop.
yeah,
You know, this brings into something one of our callers brought up, and I thought it was amazing. We need to act more like the Democrats. For example, if one of our candidates doesn't get elected, well, I'm just not going to vote for the Republican then because I didn't like him. Well, here's the problem with that. You and I, folks, if our candidate doesn't win and they're conservative and they lose out to a rhino, are you going to vote for a Democrat or are you not going to vote?
Right.
You'll do neither. Because here's what you have to understand. The Democrats already told you what they're going to do if they get back in power. You have to swallow your gumption. We'll bite it down until the next election cycle, and then we'll try to get them out again. But you cannot let, and I'm not saying the rhinos are much better than Democrats, but at least you can apply pressure to them, right? You're seeing rhinos right now feeling there's at least 3 races in Texas, including governor, where they are nervous because grassroots people have decided to get off their butts and vote and be involved and run for office. And now there's a good chance we're going to see 2 or 3 runoffs. There's a real good chance of that. Or the grassroots candidate has a good chance of winning at least 1 or 2 runoffs, maybe. But the grassroots candidate, because people are fed up with these rhinos. And Brant, we know if you want to get a rhino out of office, it's not in November. What are you going to do? Vote for a Democrat and get your rhino out of office? No, you do it during the primaries.
Right.
That's when you do it. You vote for the best candidate in the primaries. But what typically has the lowest percentage of voting, Brant?
Primaries.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just a primary. Yeah, that's where you get to vote them out. And it just shocks me that people don't realize this is your opportunity. And I'm going to say the polls when I went to vote were okay. They were a steady stream, but they're still under what they should be. I should have seen a line coming out the door, Brant.
Yeah, without a doubt, especially right now. And you know, people don't understand that there's no way to prove who won with electronic voting. It's impossible. We're the only country dumb enough to still do it. I mean, come on, our votes are going through Venezuela and China. Are you serious? But it only takes 3 votes per county. You hear me? 3 votes per county. 3 county commissioners or a judge and 2 county commissioners to vote paper ballots. Paper's already there. People are already there. It's already set up. There's not time to doctor it. Oh, it doesn't show up in real time. No, actually, it does show up in real time. And you can count it all in one day. Not give a week or 2 for people to come up with, you know, I'm sure Ayatollah Khomeini now is a Democrat voter, right? And
he qualifies.
I mean, we have footage of Democrats saying, we've been cheating for 50 years. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Well, you know what? Your vote. You got to vote, and you have to occupy. I saw footage today. Nino America, who has shared this deep dive. So grateful for him. You know, I think one of the candidates that I interviewed on set was being drug out of a city council meeting, calling people on their lies. You know, people breaking the rules, rhinos as well, taking money from people that do not represent us. And then, of course, you know, I mean, think about it. How hard is it? You know, if you're a Democrat who's always voted for the leftist death things, I mean, think about it. If you actually got all the things you voted for, you wouldn't even have your own cell phone, folks. I mean, give me a break. Are you thinking? You know, what if all the policies the leftists vote for actually came into play? You wouldn't have that $8 latte or your Palestinian scarf and your, $2,200 iPhone and your, it's lunacy. It's willful stupidity. But unfortunately, it's inherently evil because their father is to kill, steal, and destroy. When was the last time you saw a Democrat build anything? All they can do is destroy. They can't create anything. They can only leech, you know? And the ones who do claim to create anything, it's soon perverted because, you have like rabid dogs that turn on each other. And you're wondering who you're going to vote for, if you're going to vote at all? Are you serious? So for conscience sake, look, hey, I think civil war is inevitable, Spencer. I really do. But, man, maybe we can delay it a little bit if we just vote. If you don't vote and they get back in power, what they've already promised to do, they promised a civil war before the last election, So anyway, all that to say is, folks, you need to snap out of it. The very things that you are distracting yourself with are not freedoms you're going to have under a communist, Islamist leadership. And look how close we got. People criticizing Trump, for the strike against Iran. Really? Really? Do you know how close they were to nuking us? Well, they didn't have any nukes, really? You don't think China gave them nukes?
Wait a second. Let's not forget Hillary Clinton, who gave them a lot of
uranium
our stockpiles with uranium one.
Or Osama gave them billions of dollars in pallets in cash, man.
Over $150 billion in cash. And that's going to come out. This is all. I don't think we're going to see a civil war, Brant, because the only people doing this are a very small percentage.
Well, I didn't say we wouldn't win quickly, but
I'm not saying that either. But there's a color revolution. These people were installed in our government, and we caught them. And we talked about this on the deep dive before, that we caught them on a Zoom call using their government ID to plan sedition and treason against our government and against us, because we elected that government. Here's the other thing I thought was interesting, and somebody brought up, that we took care of the leadership of Iran by putting them into pieces faster than they've allowed a vote on the Save America Voter Integrity Act.
Right.
It's amazing what one guy can do when you don't have to rely on Congress. And that's our problem right now. I think a lot of things are going to start coming to light. We have an opportunity, and I think I'm praying to God that we're going to see some great surprises tonight, Brant, where a lot of these rhinos will not be going back to Washington.
I pray so.
Or into our state legislatures, but we'll have to see. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But, and I only say it's going to be tough because there's a whole segment of our population that's lazy and apathetic, and they think their vote doesn't count, and they don't understand, because you went out and vote, your vote has more weight. It's not that they count it 5 or 6 times like the Democrats. No, it's because you made your voice heard. You showed up. You took the time to do it, as opposed to somebody that didn't. And then you outweigh the system with the people that show up. So please, until 7 o'clock tonight, and this may run next Thursday, and the election will be over, and we'll see how things go and how it fell and what the voting totals were. And then we'll either say we told you so, or happy surprise, thank you for listening to us, one of the two, after the next show airs on GLC. But Brant, I am hopeful that more and more people are waking up, as you mentioned, the Epstein files and the horrid things coming out of that. My gosh, Brant, and I wouldn't tell anyone in our audience to go look up frazzle drip.
I know.
But when they questioned Hillary Clinton, that phrase came up. She wanted to say that Pizzagate was a far-fetched, made-up conspiracy. It's never been debunked. Actually, the 4 or 5 journalists that debunked it were arrested for child porn and child rape. So maybe there was something to Pizzagate. So
did you say that they mentioned that name, Frazzle Drip, during her deposition?
Yes.
They did.
Yes. And I'm not going to say what it is here.
Oh my gosh.
And
what was her expression?
Huh?
What was her expression?
Oh, Well, I'm one of these people that believe a lot of these people have already been dealt with, Brant. That kind of evil, I believe the people that are controlling things now, the good guys, the white hats, have taken care of a lot of these people because that kind of evil shouldn't be allowed to survive. But the actor or actress playing Hillary Clinton didn't react much to it. I'm not even sure she knew much about it. I don't know. But the fact that it came up in a deposition
Yeah.
when it was called a conspiracy theory. Well, if it was a conspiracy theory, why are 9 out of 12 police officers and investigators dead because they viewed the video?
Yeah, folks. These elite that kill children. And by the way, we're reminding you they ate children, and you're not sure if you're going to vote or who you're going to vote for. They ate children,
Babies.
and but we'll say that certain elites are known for, they're known by the method in which they prefer to kill children, and so I'm trying to stay out of the news. But let me tell you, the very least, believe me when I tell you, the very least thing you can do is vote. And vote these demons out. That's the least you can do. They
Amen,
ate
brother.
kids and worse.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
They did terrible things. And what had been your child? Huh? You're going, oh, well, it's just, I don't believe any of it. Okay. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. It happened. I believe a lot of these people have been dealt with. And what you're seeing now, I believe, Brant, is the white hats showing people, God using these men and women to show people, ease them into it. Because I'm telling you, I've been doing research on this for years. You've been doing research on this for years. It is a heavy burden to carry. It is a darkness that haunts your soul to know that these people walk among us and they're unmolested. And I'm talking about the perpetrators, that they're allowed to walk among civilized society without being rounded up and burned at the stake. That's how bad what they did to children is. And, we don't have to get too dark with that. If you would you not rely on the social grifters on social media to let you know what's on there? Oh, that's a conspiracy. And go find the files yourself. Go watch some of the videos that they release. They're not going to release all of it. And the left is always saying, well, they're not releasing everything. That's because it's under criminal investigation. You do not release evidence that you've collected to the public to consume before the trial. So everybody can just chill out on that. But you're going to see more and more disclosure. You're going to find out about the 2020 election being stolen.
Right.
You're going to find out how your tax money's been used to destroy your nation, your livelihood, your business. Over decades, you're going to find out that the very people that you loved and adored as a child, maybe watched on TV or in the movies, is actually one of them. And then you're going to have nothing to fall back on because your world's going to be shattered except for Jesus. He is the rock. That's why we call him the rock. He is the rock of our foundation. He is not shifting sand. He is not easily swayed. He is our rock. And that's the only thing we can look to, Brant, is Jesus Christ. And in these times, you better be hanging on to the rock.
And you better be ready to fight. Fight for your family, the target. Fight for your brothers and sisters. We're dealing with the all things evil people that have systematically tried to destroy the family. They hate women. They hate children. They definitely hate men. They hate all white people. You think because you're liberal and white that you're spared their plans? And they hate black conservatives. They contributed to the fatherlessness. The black community had a higher marriage retainment rate before Johnson. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they even was higher than white marriages. And yet, you saw how well that worked, in a system designed to destroy the family, to destroy everybody, even destroy each other.
And what did they promise everyone? Oh, free stuff,
Free stuff.
welfare, free.
It
Once
all,
you took
yeah.
the work ethic out and you started promising people free stuff, riding circuses, my brother.
And we are there. But you know what? A lot of people will be shocked to discover that the Goths and Visigoths, a lot of them were Christian. That they thought they were doing God's work by destroying the evil Roman Empire. Here we are, our 250th year. May we return to the precepts of our forefathers. Those outlaw preachers. Oh, the Bible, don't mix it too. Oh, you're ignorant. You're ignorant if you don't know. The Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, nothing more than sermon notes that John Adams took from the Black Robe Regiment, the Black Robe outlaw preachers that King George wanted dead. I'm shocked how many Bible college graduates don't even know about the Black Robes that wrote our founding documents through their sermons and through John Adams. And so, folks, and they weren't a bunch of old men in white wigs. They were teenagers, mostly older teenagers and young 20s. But all that to say is we got to wake up, because here we are. And your country, your family, and your life depends on it. That's been another